This is Taylor Shabazinas, who is facing charges of murdering her lover, Shad Therian. Shabazinas strangled her lover to death during intercourse after they were both intoxicated with methamphetamine and prescription drugs. Shabazinas continued to have sex with Therian's body before dismembering and removing his internal organs. The Wisconsin woman confessed and admitted to committing the crime during an interrogation with the cops.
I grinded on him, I put the in his ass.
You grinded on?
Yeah, I listened.
Did you ever put his p in your vagina? Or you just grind on him? So when did you start, cutting up his body?
Like almost right away. I was sucking and cutting at the same time.
Even though Shabazinas didn't seem to be remorseful about her actions, the incident left Therian's family in an emotional state. Therian's uncle, Kelly Therian, had a word of prayer to say to his nephew's murderer in the court.
If you take the path to go get the help, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. None of us would be in this situation. But to take the cowardly path that you did and to make other people suffer because you were suffering is pretty shitty.
During a court hearing on February 14, 2023, Shabazinas suddenly attacked her attorney, Quinn Jolly, right in front of the judge and everyone else present.
Rachel, call. Going off on your attorney, Taylor. Going crazy on your attorney. Taylor, can you walk?
Jolly reacted quickly to defend himself from Shabazinas' violent outburst before the sheriff's officer tackled her. Jolly told Judge Walsh he planned to file a motion to be removed from the case.
At this point, I'm going to put a motion in the withdrawal from this matter.
On September 26, Judge Walsh sentenced Shabazinas to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. This is Melissa Hardwick, who is in court for domestic abuse charges. Melissa's ex-husband, John Anderson, had filed a domestic assault complaint against the 41-year-old.
Your statements in your petition as part of your testimony, but I need you to tell me briefly, in your own words, what happened to cause you to ask for a domestic violence order.
Yes, Your Honor. Things have been escalating, I guess, since the first of the year, and Melissa's had a couple MIWs and a couple arrests, and she got out of jail in, I guess, April, and she started, we hadn't really had anything personal up until that point. She got out of jail in April.
The mother of three faces charges including third-degree terroristic threatening, intimidating a participant in the legal process, and resisting arrest. During the court proceeding, Melissa repeatedly denied her estranged husband the opportunity to speak as she kept on interrupting. After warning her repeatedly, Judge Jennifer Edwards decided to take bold action to put her in check.
My personal life is
No.
your business, John. It has nothing to do with
Miss
you
Hardwick,
boys. No.
you will be held in contempt of this court if you become
I
disruptive.
don't care. I haven't done anything to this court. I haven't done anything to
Okay.
him.
She will be
It
arrested
doesn't
for
make
contempt
any-
of the court.
It doesn't make any difference.
You will serve 10 days for contempt of court. Go now.
Get off me!
Luckily, security officers quickly responded to the situation. They restrained her before she could get to the bench and maintained order.
Wait and see. Get my bracelet off the floor.
A new judge will have to be appointed to represent because she will be charged criminally for the threats that were made in open court today.
Melissa was sentenced to 120 days in jail for contempt of court. Her bond was set at $25,000. Mr. Anderson, on the other hand, got what he wanted. He was granted an emergency protection order that will replace the no contact order. This is Ryan Burge, who is in a Washington court for murder. On November 2nd, 2018, Burge physically assaulted 5-year-old Hartley Anderson, the daughter of his ex-girlfriend, Natasha DeFoya. The young girl who was left in his care died from injuries she sustained from the attack. The 37-year-old man is charged with first-degree manslaughter and second-degree murder. During court proceedings, the child abuser walked into the courtroom, which was heavy with emotion, unaware of the storm about to break.
Burge sang little as his former girlfriend, Hartley's mother, Natasha, was sobbing from the seats. The proceedings suddenly interrupted, with Hartley's father, Peter Anderson, lunging toward the bench. He was quickly taken out by deputies, leading him away in handcuffs outside the courtroom.
Tensions in court reached breaking point when Anderson's father launched an attack on his child's killer. Order was restored to the courtroom after court bailiffs marched him out. Burge was sentenced to a 40-year prison sentence in addition to 36 months of anger management and substance abuse treatment. After court proceedings, Anderson's family had some words for the press.
That was really hard. Because she's just so little, and I just don't know how you could put your hands on a little girl like that. I was at our Halloween party at work on Wednesday, and I got my last hug from her. It's heartbreaking to see someone go through all this.
This is Russell Burrell. This 17-year-old teen is facing charges for 3 counts of murder, 3 counts of discharging a firearm, and 1 count of conspiracy. On July 30th, 2012, Russell Burrell, who was armed with a fully loaded Glock, Quandle Husband, and Donovan Hall walked to the apartment of Michael Martin. Upon arriving at the house, the 3 met Martin and Cologne, whom they were not expecting to see, and barked commands at them. As Martin and Cologne headed toward the back of the apartment, Burrell fired the 9mm repeatedly at them and killed them both. After hearing the gunshots, Shamika Barros awoke from the couch in the living room and was also shot dead by Burrell. After committing the murder, the police apprehended the 3 and brought them in for trial. In court, the prosecutor narrated what went down at the crime scene to defend his claims.
Discussion among all of them about the fact that Michael Martin was soft. That is, that those present thought that Mr. Martin would be an easy target for a robbery. The group discussed the fact that Mr. Martin would likely have marijuana and money at the apartment. Bullets fired by Russell Burrell struck and killed both Michael Martin and Damian Cologne. As Russell Burrell was firing at Mr. Martin and Mr. Cologne in the kitchen, Shamika Barros woke up from the couch in the living room.
During the trial, families of the victims had the chance to confront Burrell for murdering their dear son.
You took the life of her son, my grandson, for what? You committed a horrible, evil act, murdering 3 precious persons, resulting from your sick soul.
Every day comes with the struggle of having to walk past his bedroom door. Another day that shall pass without hearing his voice or seeing a smile that would light up a room. There's a void and a hole and an emptiness in my life that will never be filled.
At the end of their impact statement, the old woman had a special request for the judge.
I don't desire revenge, but I do ask for justice and to impose the maximum penalty as the law allows.
The Superior Court Justice Robert Krause granted the request and sentenced Russell Burrell to 6 life sentences with additional 10 years for his role in the murder. This is Tori Massey, who is facing charges for possession of a dangerous weapon and death of a police animal. 30-year-old Massey shot Dingo, a police's 7-year-old service dog, to death as a means of escape. On July 16, 2017, Massey was wanted for theft, robbery, and aggravated assault, but tried to run away from the police. During the car chase, Massey fired several shots at the K-9 officer and left the dog with critical wounds. The officers took Dingo to an animal hospital immediately, where he was eventually pronounced dead. Massey was captured and taken into the custody of the U.S. Marshals. This crime caused a lot of pain to the Unified Police Department, especially the dog's handler, Chad Reyes. In court, Reyes had the chance to express his wishes for Massey.
Hearing the gunshots, then feeling the extreme panic as I continued to sprint, having Dingo rush to my side with his mouth wide open as he was desperately trying to draw breath. The instant and overwhelming grief that consumed me when I saw Dingo slip into unconsciousness. While I was holding his blood-soaked body in my arms. No matter what the difficulty in my life, Dingo had an amazing ability to fill my soul as well. He's incapable of compassion or empathy. To achieve his objectives, he will deceive, victimize, or destroy anything in his way. Tori Massey must understand some of his days in prison are being served solely for taking the life of my best friend.
Chad Reyes pleaded with the judge to give the most severe sentence to Massey, but the 30-year-old also had a plea to make.
I understand that I got to pay for what I did.
But I would like to apologize to Chad Reyes. I took his friend, his partner.
After getting a plea from both parties, this was what the judge had to say.
Given what you have done in your life, you need to be in custody.
Having this whole process concluded is helpful for me. I feel like his apology was very feigned and just another way for him to try and get something for himself. It's a hole that will never be filled. They're invaluable creatures and irreplaceable.
Judge Paul Parker sentenced Massey to 11 years behind bars at the Utah State Prison. The next convict had his reaction planned before attending the trial.
You just gave him 40 years. Well, guess what? Sir, what's this?
This is 46-year-old Ricky Hand, who is currently facing charges for multiple armed robberies. Ricky has been robbing different shops and convenience stores in Ohio, and he managed to escape with cash and some items. However, his attempt to rob John's drive-thru didn't end up as usual. He received an instant retaliation he didn't anticipate as the shop owner shot at him before he managed to escape the scene. After the robbery attempt, the shop owner called the police to inform them of the attempted robbery.
911 emergency. Yeah, this is John's drive-thru, West Main Street. A guy just tried to rob me and I shot him. He ran out the back door. Okay, is he injured? I think I hit him.
Within a couple of days, Ricky visited the hospital to treat himself for the bullet wound from the failed robbery. And it was at the hospital that he got arrested. Ricky Hand admitted to several business break-ins with a knife and a gun. Although the gun was later determined to be fake, the threat to victims was still there.
I did try to rob John's drive-thru. I got shot 3 times. I did the crime, I ain't gonna lie. I just wanted to leave.
There have been probably a half a dozen or more robberies. Now you're looking at John's, you're looking at this break-in to this beauty salon.
That's all I've done.
The beauty salon's a bonus because I didn't even know anything about that, and you told me that.
I'm going to prison for a long time.
Well, you know that.
Ricky, who has been cooperative with the cops during the investigation, took a total turn in reaction after the judge read his sentence.
Did you just give me 40 years, sir?
Yes.
After hearing he would be spending 40 years in jail, Hand reached for a bottle of his own feces and bodily fluids hidden in an arm sling he was wearing and swung it at his lawyer in court. Within seconds of the outburst, courtroom officials were able to subdue Hand.
You can't play Jesus and God? What's wrong with you? Yeah, man. 40 is a death sentence, man. Yeah, man.
Ricky faced a new set of charges for his erratic reaction in the courtroom. The charges included harassment with bodily substance, 1 for his attorney and 4 deputies. He was also charged with obstructing official business and retaliation. In this next case, a man spat on a judge during a pretrial hearing. This is Bass Webb, who is appearing in court for a pretrial hearing on murder charges. In 2009, Bass Webb murdered his ex-girlfriend, Bria, and left her in a Kentucky home with her 2 young daughters. Later that Friday, Bass Webb is seen on surveillance camera attempting to run over 2 jail employees outside the Bourbon County Jail, where he once served 3 months on assault charges. The 32-year-old is facing 2 counts of attempted murder. During his first pretrial court hearing, Judge Dixon recused herself from the case because she knew the 2 jail employees he tried to kill with his car. But this didn't go down well with Webb. What he did next was shocking. The action clearly takes aback the judge.
That be yes?
Yes.
There's no way I'm going to try this case or have any further proceedings, or I have to see you for one further setting. Set preliminary hearing next week.
After dismissing Webb, she makes sure that Webb stands and watches as she wipes the spit off her face.
Keep him right here. Keep him right here.
After this incident, Webb was later charged with the first-degree murder of his 2 ex-girlfriends, with additional charges of third-degree assault and harassment, and first-degree PFO, persistent felony offender. At last, handed 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would spend the rest of his life in prison. In this next case, a grieving family wants their pound of flesh from the suspect in court. This is Paul Wade, who is in Jefferson County Justice Center, Louisville, for murder. On September 10th, 2022, the 31-year-old man killed 26-year-old Edward Lamont Smith and 25-year-old Alexis McCrary in Louisville's Russell neighborhood. Police discovered the bodies a few blocks apart and believe the murders were connected. He is charged with first-degree manslaughter and second-degree murder. During court proceedings, the unrest from families of the deceased threatened to derail the trial.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Paul Wade.
Paul Wade.
Now I will say good afternoon. It just turned noon, so good afternoon. Erin Kennedy Streitzman. I'm standing in for Rob Eggert on behalf of Paul Wade. This is a little bit different. Mr. Eggert is retained on...
Quiet in courtroom.
Mr. Eggert is retained on the 2 revocation.
Okay, hold on.
One more outburst.
Ma'am, you're going to have to leave the courtroom. You have to... I believe you.
We all family.
Okay, y'all got to not talk. Okay. No talking in the courtroom.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. He does have a new charge. Mr. Eggert has not been retained yet. I'm standing in for the limited purpose to ask on his behalf for this to go to November 1st for Mr. Eggert to possibly be retained.
So hold on, I've got someone who doesn't have a lawyer?
Yes.
Are you going to hire a lawyer?
I don't know. I gotta see my financial situation, but I'm trying to
I just
hire.
don't want to just keep you hanging out in jail without a lawyer.
You can give me a PD, a man.
What?
I said you can give me a PD.
Well, do you qualify?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you
I don't
mean?
got a job. I ain't
Well,
got
then
no
how are you
income.
going to hire a lawyer?
That's why I said I don't know right now. I gotta see how my financial situation work out.
With the room already on ice, the judge rescheduled the hearing, but Wade's decision to spite the families proved nearly fatal.
The seriousness of the crime, I don't know if I got enough money for it.
And the 2 revocation cases, Mr. Eggert had those previously.
You did have Mr. Eggert previously?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want an opportunity to hire Mr. Eggert?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
You think it's realistic that will happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I will give you to November 1st.
Okay.
But I will tell you, sir, I just can't just hold it. Just hold it. Okay. So if it's not here by November 1st, we're going to talk again about the public defender.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and the day before you're in surrogate, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I have
look, bro. He's wrong. He's wrong, bro.
Help! 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 Help!
He's wrong.
Help! You stay back.
He's wrong.
I know.
4 family members of the deceased persons were arrested for disorderly conduct in obstructing governmental operation. The alleged murderer was returned to his cell and had his bond set to $1 million cash.